All right, welcome back. You're watching The Insight here on TV 47. And in the past few days, we've witnessed a dramatic escalation of the tensions. President William Ruto has intensified his anti-corruption campaign, even establishing a new multi-agency team to spearhead the fight against corruption that has since been suspended by the courts. Yet this move came against the backdrop of open rebellion from Parliament, where MPs protested what they described as sustained attacks from the head of state. The president remarks calling Parliament a home of extortion have provoked sharp reactions. Lawmakers have demanded evidence, threatened to invoke Article 125 to summon the president, and even hinted at impeachment proceedings against their own speakers should they fail to act. This, without doubt, one of the most bruising confrontations since the 2010 Constitution came into force. Tonight, our panel, we want to delve deeper with them on this particular issue to unpack this development, and we'll explore the question: is this a healthy sign of checks and balances or the beginning of a constitutional crisis? Can the fight against corruption succeed amid such political hostility? And most importantly, what does this mean for the Kenyan people and the future of our democracy? As mentioned earlier, we're holding court with Samson Cherargei, the Senator of Nandi. Also, we have with us Senator Godfrey Osotsi, the Senator of Vihiga, and the Senator of Kisii. This is Richard Onyonka. Gentlemen, I had to welcome once again. Let me just go straight to you, Osotsi. And of course, hearing this, I don't know if you're part of that joint parliamentary group meeting where the president made this particular pronouncement. What was your reaction?
Well, first of all, let me start by greeting all the Kenyans, wherever they are.
And by the way, I had to welcome to TV 47. I think this is your maiden debut.
Actually,
so we should have some hoopla, razzmatazz, and the confetti is flying around. Thank you for joining us.
Dibal, this is not the first time.
It's not the first time? Ah, no, good. I thought it's the first time.
I have been here a number of times.
Fantastic.
Not with him.
Not on the inside.
Yeah, I have been here ever since you started. But I'm glad that today we are here with my two colleagues from the Senate to discuss these issues among the others. I want to confirm that I attended the joint PG. And I attended in my capacity, not just as a member of the Senate, but also as a deputy party leader of Orange Democratic Movement. Because to me, the main agenda of that meeting was supposed to be the unveiling of the inception report on the 10-point agenda. And you know that I've been one of the key people within the Orange Party who have been pushing for implementation of the 10-point agenda.
Yes.
Because I believe that the 10-point agenda, if implemented, then it will be the second major thing to happen to this country after the new constitution, the 2010 constitution. So I attended because I was very keen to see or to understand how the implementation process would be done. But it's unfortunate that the main agenda was drifted from that issue of 10-point agenda to the issue of the conduct of Parliament. And I want to say that it is really unfortunate that Parliament had to be discussed in that manner. It had to be discussed because, as you know, Dibal, Parliament has its own internal legal mechanism of dealing with ethical issues. First of all, we have committees of powers and privilege. We have it in the National Assembly, and we also have it in the Senate. And these two committees are the only committees whose chairperson are the speakers of the two houses. The Speaker, Amason Kingi, is the chair of Powers and Privilege Committee in the Senate. Speaker Moses Wetangula is the chair of Powers and Privileges Committee in the National Assembly. All matters of ethical conduct among the members of Parliament are supposed to be directed to that committee, either internally within Parliament or even externally. And you have seen in the past issues of that nature have been addressed before the Powers and Privilege Committee. When I served in the National Assembly, we had an accusation that was made by the member for Kimilili, Dismas Baratha, that members of Parliament were receiving bribes in the toilet. And the then Speaker, Muturi, a man I respect a lot, because I thought he tried his very best to guide that house. He was subjected to the Powers and Privilege Committee. Investigation was done, and it came out that it was just the usual talk that politicians make. There was no substance. And he was punished for that. So I think it would be proper if our leadership in this country felt that there was a problem, an ethical problem in Parliament, the best place to address it was to go through the mechanisms that are established in law within the standing orders and within the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, because there is a legislation on that, so that we get to the bottom of the matter, rather than subjecting members of Parliament to ridicule, to branding members of Parliament as extortionists. I think the two houses, the House of Senate and the National Assembly, deserve an apology from our president, because I find that to be a bit reckless coming from the head of state, because there are better ways of doing it. And people will ask themselves questions that where has been the head of state? If all this was happening, what action has he taken? And why does he not name the people who are responsible?
Yeah, but you mentioned that...
He mentioned that 10 million was given to pass the anti-money laundering bill. But you know that anti-money laundering bill was a government bill. It was a government bill. So if it was a government bill, whoever was bribing members of Parliament most likely would be someone from government. We also want to know who is that person in government, or which government ministry or agency was involved in bribing. So it is both ways. You are blaming members of Parliament, but who was giving the money? Can we know the agency that was involved in giving money?
Right, but
So what we want is, we are not saying that a few of us could be having challenges of ethical conduct, but we are saying let it be done procedurally. This blanket condemnation of members of Parliament and the Senate to be involved in ethical conduct, I think it is a matter that must be taken seriously. But on the other hand, I look at the positive side of it. The positive side of it is that we have been complaining quite a lot. I have been appearing on TV and in public meetings saying that Parliament has been hijacked by the executive. Because sometimes you see what happens in Parliament and you wonder, is it Parliament or is it something else? This is now an opportunity for parliamentarians to assert themselves and be delinked from the executive in terms of carrying out their mandate, so that we begin to act for the interests of the people of Kenya and do the right thing. So this kind of situation, to me, I'm looking at it positively, and I would like the head of state to continue annoying the members even more, so that they realize that they are on their own. The other thing is that the executive also has a share of blame, because if you look at Parliament, the process of deciding who becomes a chair of a particular committee in Parliament nowadays is not decided by members themselves. People are called to State House and a list of leaders of various committees is read out. So and so will be the chair, so and so will be the vice chair. And that's why my good friend, very competent Senator for Nandi, he's not a chair of anything because they thought he's too independent to be a chair of anything. So if we go back to the old ways of doing things so that you allow the members themselves, if we have members of our technical committee, to decide who their chair or vice chair would be, that would be the beginning of independence of Parliament.
So secondly, why are you yourself called to State House? Because you're the chair of the County Public Investment and Special Fund. Fortunately, when we started, we in the ODM, we were not part of the government side. So we went through an election. Me and Moses Kajwang, we were elected by our respective committees to be the chairs of the committees. But for the other standing committees in the Senate and the National Assembly, the decision was made in State House.
Was made in State House.
Thank you. Let me come to...
And before I finish, also, we must look at the behavior of our speakers. We cannot have a speaker of a House of Parliament, like the Senate or a National Assembly, donning political party colors over the weekend and say 2-term or 1-term, and even talking party politics, and the same person is supposed to sit on the holy chair of the speaker
as a neutral arbiter.
As a neutral person, as an impartial person. That is where the problem is. So that's why I'm saying this is an opportunity to redeem Parliament and take to Parliament to where it belongs.
Thank you. All right, let me come to Honorable Richard Onyonka.